welcome to the Tea Table. Today we're going to be taking a look at 4 single prize based decks from Brilliant Stars, or decks that might have gotten additions from Brilliant Stars. So a little quick synopsis on why these decks are kind of making a comeback. It's because most of them, except for Torterra, which you're going to see, play Mana Fee to protect their bench, so it usually gives them enough time to keep up with the faster decks. And decks like Jolteon and Rapid Strike Urshifu would take advantage of the low HP and just get double knockouts, and they just had no chance. Like, you're going up, you're playing an online event, 3 Jolteons. Doesn't, well, I lost. It is what it is. So while some of these decks will have Vs in them, the main attackers are single prize Pokemon, and even if your opponent knocks out a V, they still got to knock out 4 other Pokemon. So I hope you enjoy these decks, and please let me know what you think of them. So the first deck we're going to talk about is Torterra. So Torterra is new. It does 50 times the amount of evolution Pokemon you have in play. So it's important to know that, especially for this build, you don't need to have all of the evolution in play to get the bonus. As you'll see in a couple of the Pokemon in the deck, it's a pretty neat way to cheat out 50 damage easily and draw cards. So let's jump into the deck list real quick. So you do start off with RCSV and RCSV Star. Now, this deck is completely different in terms of you do not care about attacking with it. It is not there to attack. It's there to look cool on your bench and use Starbirth to search for 2 cards. So basically, if you can get a Turtwig and an RCSV and an Energy turn 1, and you could draw enough turn 2 by having one of your supporters, it basically helps you guarantee an attack, is what it is. So you can get Rare Candy, Torterra, or Rare Candy Energy, Torterra Energy, whatever you might be missing to help you go off on the second turn of the game. It's really cool, and it just adds to the 50 damage. Yes, it is 2 prizes, but they still gonna knock out 4 other Pokemon. And when Torterra could be hidden for upwards of 330 damage, they might not have time to focus on that because they're gonna have to take out Torterras. So, the other Pokemon we got here are Babarrel. Draw until you have 5. It adds to your 50 damage, and it lets you draw cards. Bonus. And it's Babarrel. We all love Bidoof. We all love Babarrel. Easy choice for the deck over cards like Cinccino, because you don't really want to discard too many cards, per se, because you'll draw the 2 aren't as good as if you have a turn where you're going to Rare Candy, Torterra, attach, you got 1 card in your hand. You Babarrel up to 5. Maybe you draw the Boss's Order you need, or the Energy, whatever you might need that turn. It's insane in it. So then you got the Torterra line. What I do want to speak on is the Grotle. Once during your turn, you get to search for a grass Pokemon. So you get any grass. It could be basic or evolution. So you get Turtwig, Grotle, Torterra. You can also get Beedrill. So Beedrill says, once during your turn, if this Pokemon is the last card in your hand, you can put it on your bench and draw 3. So, with Ultra Ball being back and all that stuff, you can definitely do some plays where you can get your hand low, Ultra Ball for a Pokemon like Beedrill or a different Pokemon, use Grotle to get the Beedrill, drop the Beedrill down, draw 3, and since it is an evolution Pokemon, you add 50 damage. Out of nowhere. I'm an off-out game where I got Arceus Torterra turn 2. They started like a Crobat, and I had the choice spell, and they're like, you don't have any other Pokemon in play, so I was like, Beedrill. 180. Your opponent's alright. And Beedrill does have free retreat cost, which is a very nice bonus. We do have one more Pokemon like that, Empoleon. The difference in this one is Empoleon is, if you have no cards in your hand, you can put it on your bench from your discard pile. So it's like one of those cards you see in your opening hand. It's not too upsetting because you can Quick Ball it away or Ultra Ball it, and then later, it's like a Mousecatool you can use later, and Empoleon comes in. I did think about wearing a Water Energy for Empoleon, but I'm not sure how much it really will matter. It's definitely a thing I'm going to work on during testing. So that's all the Pokemon. So we got the trainers. You got 4 Ultra Ball, 3 Quick Ball, 3 Evolution Incense, ways to get your Pokemon. You got Rare Candy to skip to Torterra, Ordinary Rod to shuffle back in your deck. We got Turffield Stadium, which is you can search for an Evolution Grass Pokemon. So you open Turtle, you get this, it searches your Grotle, and your Grotle starts getting everything else, and it steamrolls on. The supporters are pretty interesting. We do have 1 Research, 1 Marnie, 2 Boss's Order. We do have 3 Raihan, because you are a single prize deck, and you have 190, and that's like pretty good for a stage 2. It's like, you're going to get knocked out, right? So Raihan basically lets you recover every turn. So if you get a Torterra going, and you got a Turtwig on the bench, you're drawing with your Babarrel and stuff, they get knocked out, you Raihan, you got your energy, and you get to search for whatever other card you're missing. And if you have a turn where you haven't used Arceus V-Star and you can rely on an Arceus V-Star, you're literally getting an energy and searching for any 3 cards you want. And that's pretty insane. So I think Rhyhorn's really good in this because you need the 2 energy and you can't use a twin or a double turbo to attack. Really good. And then we got a new supporter, Cynthia's Ambition. So I like this over Bruno. This is draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. If any of your Pokemon were knocked out, you draw until you have 8 cards in your hand. So not only is it not a dead card if you open it and you get low enough, because sometimes with Bruno, you're like, wow, I got 4 cards in my hand. That's cool, but at least this one you get to keep your hand, draw until you have 5, and then it's also good to get knocked out. So it's pretty good either way, I think, and I'm definitely going to be putting this over Bruno in decks that would be using that for the most part. So then we got 2 Air Balloon, we got 2 Choice Bell, which is new. You do 30 more of their active V. That's how you hit 330. 330 is a great number. You're only not knocking out like Eternatus. It happens. It is what it is. Then you got 2 Capture and 7 Grass Energy. So overall, so far in my games on Torterra, I think that's the deck when you get a bad hand, you get a bad hand, right? Like, it's just, wow, look at you lose out. You're like, the game's over and you didn't even do anything. But this deck's ceiling is so high that when you get the nuts, it just overruns your opponent and they don't even know what's happening. And then you just steamroll the rest of the game. So let me know what you think about Torterra down below in the comments. The next deck is going to be Durant. Everyone on Twitter is very excited about Durant. They're talking about the mill is coming. Durant's making a comeback from its heyday. From Noble Victories where it did the same thing but for metal. So this Durant for 2 colorless for each Durant. Discard top card of your opponent's deck. So you can discard up to 4 if you don't prize any Durants. And the problem before was you had 4 energy. And also no mana fee. So now you got mana fee and you have up to 8 energy depending on how many you want to play. So you got the 4 Durant. You got Mew. Once your turn, if it's active, look at the top 6, take an item. You're going to see how many items are in the deck, so that's really good to get. And it's probably the best starter you can have for this deck. Because you want to be able to do something turn 1, especially if you go second, and also attack. Then you have mana fee, protect your bench. So let's go to the items. So you got 4 Battle VIP Pass. You can only use them on the first turn. But with Mew, if you get that on the top 6, you just got 2 Durants for free. And you can discard it later, and who cares? Pretty insane. You got 4 Crushing Hammer because you are a stall deck, because you have to stall long enough to mill them. 4 a turn adds up, but if they're popping you easy, boom, 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 you're going to lose real fast, and it won't matter how many you mill because you're just going to get knocked out. Then you got 4 Level Ball because all your Pokemon got big Level Ball. Or you got 1 Ordinary Rod. You shuffle 2 Durants back in. 4 Pokegear since you can get that off Mew and then get a supporter, hopefully. 4 Rescue Carrier as your Pokemon 90 HP or less. So you get 2 Durants back. 3 Scoop Up Net and 2 Switch. That's mostly to get the Mew and Manaphy out of the active. So you can open Mew, do what you got to do. Scoop Up Net, bring up Durant, attack. You open Manaphy, you don't need it. Scoop Up Net, etc., etc. You got Galar Mine, which is part of the stall strategy. So you boss's order something. He gets stuck for a few turns. You mill 8 to 12 cards. By the time your opponent recovers, it might be too late for him anyway. So a lot of Japanese lists do play Pokemon Catcher as well. But I did go Pokegear, as they usually haven't played a lot of Pokegear. And so I chose that route, but you can do Pokemon Catcher. So you got the supporters, you got the 3 Boss Sword to help stall, you got the 2 Cynthia, like I was talking about in the other deck. You're going to get knocked out a lot. You get 90 HP. So draw to 5, draw to 8, easy. You got 2 Gloria. So Gloria is a new card. Sure check if you throw up to 3 base Pokemon that don't have a rule box and put them on your bench. So this is really only super good early because you're probably going to begin your Durant's pack with Rescue Carrier. But it's still a good card. If you can hit turn 1 Mew into Pokegear, if you didn't have VIP Pass and put 3 on your bench, escalates very, very quickly. And then we got 2 Peonia, because you might prize your Durants. You put 3 prize cards in your hand, and then you put 3 cards from your hand back in your prizes. But if you prize 1 to 2 Durants, hopefully you can hit them. So there's 2. So if you looked at the first 3 once and you missed it, you can just do it again. And the other 3. And then you got 3 research because you still do want to draw cards. So for your tool, I went with Curse Shovel, which says if you're knocked out by an opponent's attack, your opponent discards the top 2 cards of the deck. So it's an extra mill. It's like having an extra Durant in play. I've seen so far it can swing games. Will I keep it? I don't know, but it was like my go-to. It was that or the Billowing Whistle, I believe is what it is, or Billowing Smoke, where your opponent doesn't draw a prize, they discard it instead. But Curse Shovel definitely seemed more effective. So then you got the mentioned 4 Double Turbo, which is new. Who cares if you do 20 less? I ain't attacking. And 4 Twin Energy. So you got 8 ways to attack with Durant. Overall, Durant has felt like one or two turns too slow. Maybe I need more disruption, play Fan Waves, which I know puts a card back in their deck, but also mills them, and then energy. I'm not sure what else you could include. If you have any suggestions, if you've been testing out Durant, because I've seen so many lists on Twitter, definitely let me know what to try. I'm open to anything. This is the deck I'll take to League or locals and just be like, oh, look at that, I beat y'all with Durant. One of those things. And next week, they'll all have anti-Durant because I do that too, and then it'll be really funny. We'll have a good time. So let me know what you think about Durant below in the comments. The third deck we got is Reshiram. So it's not like Reshiram based. I didn't really know what to call it. Magma Basin box, I guess. But it's a bunch of random one-price Pokemon. You attack your opponent, you profit. So the coolest part of the deck is Reshiram. Amazing rare. For fire, lightning, and dark, it does 270 and 60 to itself. The 60 doesn't matter because you got 120, you're getting knocked out anyway. So you're thinking, well, why has this not been viable before? Well, let's take a look and see why it's probably viable now. Alright, so we got Snorlax. So you got 4 Scoop Up Net in this deck, and you kind of need a starter, but, like, what's your starter going to be, right? Snorlax is really good because you draw to 7, and if you open whatever, you can Scoop Up Net, get the Snorlax, it's fine. Helps your hand, and if they Marnie, chances are means you're not getting knocked out turn 1, you just do it again, and then they knock it out, and you're going to get to play one of your many Raihans, as you'll see. Japanese list that I started on, it had 1, but I think 2 is better, for sure. Then we go to 2 Moltres. If you've been playing Standard the last month or two, you know this Moltres attached to Darks. To when you play it, it's used to knock out Mews. Once your opponent takes 3 prizes, this one-shots Mew. And it's really hard for me to come back from it. It's a game changer. It gets you 3 free prizes. So the great part about this deck is you're going to give up a couple prizes, usually to the bigger decks, but it won't matter because you will just steamroll them at the end with all your other things. And then we do have 2 Moltres, which is new. Regular Moltres, not Galarian. This attack does 90 damage if this Pokemon has any damage counters on. So with the Magma Basin, you'll see in a little bit, you can do 90 for 1. We're like, well, that's not that much. But you weaken them up for your other cards like the whole point of this deck is. So then we got the 2 Reshiram. Amazing Rare, like talked about, does 270. So you attack with Moltres. Reshiram's cleaning up anything. It doesn't matter what it is. So you're getting the cleanup there. We got a Tapu Koko. Retreat for free. That's why it's in the deck. And if you have to, you can allure and draw 2 cards. So we have the Manaphy to protect your bench. And then we have everyone's favorite, Inteleon line. So it's 4 Sobble, 3 Drizzle, 2 of the Quick Shooting Inteleon, and 1 of the Shading Dealing Search for 2 trainers. So then we go to the trainers. You got an Energy Search because you have 3 different types of basic energy. I was thinking about going to 2, but I wasn't sure what to take out really. Then you got an Energy Switch. So Energy Switch is cool if you're going to use the Magma Basin that we'll talk about, or if you Moltres, and then you can Energy Switch to your Reshiram to get attack out of nowhere. It's pretty good. You got 4 Level Ball for basically the Drizzle line there. 4 Quick Ball to get the rest of the Pokemon. So there's no Evolution Incense, which is really awkward about this deck. I was looking at it, and well, you gotta get, but you don't. So the Inteleons are like a weird bonus. I was thinking about going to 1 Quick Shooting and 4 the Stage 1 Drizzle. It's like a weird line that you're running because you're all basics. You got the 4 to search out Drizzle. Evolution is awkward. Ultra Ball's kind of awkward, even though you could play 1. It's definitely something. It's a lot to work with this list, but I'm liking how it's going so far. So then you got the 4 Scoop Up Net to pick a Pokemon. Then you got Magma Basin. So you can attach fire energy from a discard pile to one of your fire Pokemon, and it takes 20 damage. So that powers up Moltres. So you can do 90, and then helps Reshiram go to the attack. So you can have a turn where you attach a Lightning, Magma Basin to Reshiram, attach with Moltres, energy, do the 1 Energy Switch you searched out. Easy. You can also do with Raihans, pretty good. It's pretty sweet. So you got the 2 Bosses Order, the 3 Cynthias I've been talking about, and the other decks, draw cards, you're going to get knocked out a lot. 2 Clara, which is the general recovery of your Moltres, or whatever you might need that turn. And either of the Moltres, who knows, man, if he gets knocked out, whatever. You got the 3 Raihan, because you're going to get knocked out. So you got Attach a Lightning, Magma Basin, Raihan the Dark. You did 270. You did it. You good job. And then you got 2 Choice Belts because V's are pretty good. and it adds 30 damage. So your Reshiram can do 300, which extra knocks something out if you attack with any of the other Moltres. Then we got 5 Fire, 4 Dark, and 2 Lightning. So this deck has a lot of room to improve, but I like where it's at so far. You could drop a Snorlax. I want to keep at least one Snorlax, but that's like a preference for me. Ultra Ball is good because of the Magma Basin. I know it's kind of awkward not having it, but I haven't ever like needed to like crazy do it. You know what I mean? It just happens, right? You just get there. So you definitely could drop maybe 1 Fire for an Ultra Ball and maybe one of the Quick Balls to have 2 Ultra Balls in the deck. That way you don't need the Evolution Incense and you're still doing everything you need. Maybe even drop one of the Quick Shootings to have one of each. Because Quick Shooting is like a bonus. Because like against Mew, you're going to do 300. You can't put the damage because of Fusion Energy, but also Moltres will knock it out anyway. So this is definitely going to be my fun deck. I'm going to play on the ladder for the next couple days and see what I can do. And we all get to play Amazing Rares, and they're super cool. So I'm really interested to see how this pans out. You can also do one maybe with Yvette's Amazing Rare, but that's a little harder to do because you got to play the old Xerneas that does what Arceus does. But it's definitely something to try out, and if you got extra Reshirams lying around, you see I got 7. What am I doing with them? This is definitely what you want to try for sure. So with that being said, let's move on to the final deck, the coolest deck. And that deck is Alcremie. So I'm going to start this off with, you're probably not winning a regional with Alcremie, but this is great. This is fun. So we'll start off, first of all, I want to look at the art. The Cafe Master, I need someone to look at me like that. Like, I need someone in my life that looks at me like Alcremie is getting, or the snack, whatever he's looking at, is being looked at right now. I need that in my life. So what does the card actually do? So, its attack does 10 plus 40 for each basic energy attached to all your Pokemon. RIP Fairy Energy. We'd have it in here, but it's sadly not legal. So its ability is additional order. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your turn does not end when you play Cafe Master. Now, before we get into the deck, let's see what Cafe Master does so you can understand. Cafe Master. You choose up to 3 of your bench Pokemon. For your Joe's Pokemon, search your deck for a different type of basic energy, and attach them. Your turn ends. Unless Alcremie is active. So you get to put 3 energy, and your turn doesn't end. So let's see what makes the rest of this deck go round. So you got the Chinchino. Discard 2 cards. Or discard a card, draw 2 cards. It just helps you get through your deck faster. I do want to speak real quick on Minchino. There's a new one. You call for 5 for 2 Pokemon. You're like, oh, that's fine. But if you're in a one prize deck like this, that's definitely something you're going to want to do. So before, the other one was like, look at your opponent's hand, or did 10 or something. So if you start with this one, it's not too bad. So then we got a Zamazenta Amazing Rare. Now, I will say you can play whatever combination of Amazing Rares you want. I just wanted to use ones that maybe weren't super played. You can use Zacian's pretty good. You just adjust your basic energy accordingly, and everything will be okay. So this, for Lightning, Fighting, Metal, 180, doesn't take damage from a VMAX. Not bad. It's Fighting. That's why I chose it. So you can knock out Gengar or Arceus. And then 30 for 1, attach basic energy to a Pokemon to this Pokemon from a discard pile. So not even bad. Not even bad. And then we got Raikou. So Raikou might not be good because of Manaphy running around. But if you can play an opponent and get them where like they're playing Malamar or something, and they don't bench Manaphy because they're like, this is some weird Alcremie deck, and you can get amazing shot off and knock out like 2 Malamars like Tillery or whatever, you can swing the game. So that's definitely that. But again, you can use any Amazing Rare you want. These are just the 2 I chose. As you can see, I used Reshiram. You can even use Reshiram if you want. It literally doesn't matter. So then you got the Alcremie line. You got Lumineon V, which is new. You search for supporter, so basically Cafe Master. And the best part is, like, you can Cafe Master onto it, and I've gotten a couple knockouts so far where I just, like, attacked with this. So you put the 3 energy back in your deck for another Cafe Master. It just the combo writes itself. Then we got the Manaphy. So then you got Energy Recycle here to start off the trainers to put the 5 energy back, because, you know, if you run out of them, it's kind of awkward, because your attack will do not really any damage. So you put the 5, shuffle them back in, Cafe Master, boom. You got the 4 level ball, because literally your Minchino, Chinchino, Milcree, I don't know how to say the Pokemon's name, and Alcremie, all at 90 HP, and Manaphy. Great. You got Ordinary Rod. It's just an insurance policy, because that way you can put back Pokemon. If you got an awkward hand you had to discard, maybe. You got the 4 Quick Ball, 2 Ultra Ball, easy. 2 Boss's Order, the Cafe Master we talked about, 2 Marnie, 2 Research, 2 Raihan. So Raihan, God, Josh, you have Raihan in almost all your decks. You're right. All my Pokemon are fragile. So I've done a couple plays where, like, alright, I Cafe Mastered one turn, I attack with Alcremie, so I got, like, energy on Zamazenta or Raikou. They knock out Alcremie, and I'm like, well, I'm going to Raihan for whatever energy I'm missing, search for the other energy, and then you can get that attack out of nowhere. It's pretty sick. Also used it to save Luminion a couple times. We got 2 Air Balloon and 2 Experience Share. You don't see this too much, but it does preserve the basic energy you have in play, because when your Ectopome is knocked out by damage, you may move an energy from that basic energy to the Pokemon this is attached to. So you can save you're basically saving 40 damage by putting on Alcremie or really any Pokemon. It doesn't really matter. So with the energy, we do have 3 doable Turbo. While you do minus 20, this takes a double Turbo. So sometimes you Cafe Master and your other Alcremie got knocked out, double Turbo. You're still doing a lot of damage. And also lets you retreat with Raikou and Zamazenta if you don't have the Air Balloon. So then you got all the basic energy. I went with 2 Metal and 2 Lightning, because this is what the Amazing Rares have in common. So if you do try other Pokemon in it, Zacian, whatever, you can adjust your basic energy accordingly to which one you're going to need the most. And again, RIP Fairy energy. This is the ladder deck you should try. If you're bored, I've been playing against, or I've been testing my Mew deck for 2 hours for Utah or whatever, or my team challenge, and I just want to hang out. Get yourself some Alcremie and Cafe Master. Easily the coolest deck I've played so far. It's super fun. I don't even know. I mean, there's probably so much better Pokemon than Zamazenta and Raikou. They're just cool. So if you do have any other ones, I really want to know what you got. And I want to thank everyone for watching these quick deck profiles. Let me know what stage 1, single prize decks you're looking forward to. Or maybe your favorite card from the set in general. Leave that below. Like. And if your heart is feeling up to it, maybe drop a subscribe. And I will see everybody next time on the Tea Table.